Welcome to Lay the Loom. Hi, my name is Cher. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. Something a little bit different today. I want to talk to you about a project that I'm planning. I've got actually a couple of videos, I think, on sort of knit planning. I know, I don't always just randomly cast on with abandon. But anyway, so I thought that might be interesting. So this will probably be a fairly short one because I'm just going to limit it to the one project first. So I am wearing my Tolsta Tee. So I know I've talked about this in a couple of other episodes. So this is an old knit. I have always thought it was fairly baggy, and when I knit it, I think my bust was like 52 and it's now 43, so oversized. And I really am happy with the bust shaping. I added those in based on some instruction from Ysolda Teague's Little Red in the Big City book, which is really good for kind of like learning alterations and how fabrics work and how you can change your knits to fit you. But it's gotten bad. So last week when I was doing the laundry, I actually just chucked it in the washer. I mean, it was washing on cold, but just my regular clothes. Chucked it in the dryer, intended to take it out a little bit, after just a little bit and let it air dry. I actually dried it the whole way. So it did shrink it up a little bit, but not a ton. And I will tell you, and I've heard other folks talk about this. This is the KnitPicks CotLin, so a cotton linen blend, and it has worn really nicely. I think it's now it's a DK weight gauge, and a summer weight, so, be that as it may. But I think if you were knitting, like, I think I'd actually like a long sleeve something, when I kind of in this cool air conditioning. I do have, I think if this is no, I don't have this one in black. I need to knit a black cardigan, and it's certainly one I'm considering whether I want to do a lightweight wool or something more along this lines. But anyway, discussion for another day. So I'm drinking coffee this morning. I don't usually talk about what I'm drinking, but I thought it could be interesting for you. We when we think about supporting small businesses and local, we actually get our coffee over in Farmville, North Carolina, from the Lanoca coffee company. So I believe today this is the Terrazzo La Pastora, probably mispronouncing that, when it is a product of Costa Rica, because it's right on there. And they roast fresh, every week, and we pick it up fresh, and you can get different. This is a medium roast. So they do have a online website. They have a really nice sampler pack you can order. It's like, we know them. It's a couple family owned, started as a really small business, and is quite popular in the area. So I always like to share some good things. So I know we have gift giving occasions and stuff coming up, so that gift pack is quite nice. Do you think you get like a sample of 3 or something? So check it out if that's something that might be of interest to you. Not sponsored. They don't even know I'm blabbling today. I just happened to be grabbing my coffee and thought, that might be fun to share. So, and I knew I had a short episode. So I want to talk to you about the sweater I'm planning to make for my dad. It started with, and this is going to be embarrassing because I literally wear this sweater pretty much every day, regardless of the season, because of the coolness. It started with my, and you all have seen this. This is the Antler sweater by Tin Can Knits. Didn't love this sweater when I first knitted it, and I don't wear it out much, but I do wear it almost daily, kind of like a robe, or I gotta wear it over my pajamas because either air conditioning or don't want to turn the heat up. But love the cables. I had a lot of trouble with the underarm. There's some back episodes where I had added on a lot of stitches. Again, like a lot of my early knits, I just knit it too big. But anyway, I was wearing it at my parents', and my dad said, oh, that looks like it would fit. So we we put it on. I said, oh, I would be thrilled to knit you one of those because I actually do really like knitting cables, and I like a, yoke sweater, although I don't like them so much on me. And so he tried it on. He said, oh yeah, but I don't want that kind of neck. And I'm like what? So he wanted a V-neck, which is not a cabled yoke sweater. So the quest began. And so I took his measurements. He gave me this is a store-bought sweater that he wears. This is really big for his measurement. But it gave me something to have, look at with dimensions. And then I thought, oh, no problem. I'll just find a V-neck men's cabled sweater. Y'all, it's hard to find a V-neck men's cabled sweater. A lot of cable sweaters out there, but they're almost all round yoke. And I even tried to dive down. I don't have a lot of books, but I tried to dive down and really look at, Aarons and Guernseys. And, I wasn't being particular that it had to be, I didn't think it would be yoke style, as a matter of fact. So there just is really not a lot out there. So if you're a designer who randomly is watching this podcast, we need some men's V-neck sweaters. So anyway, the one I did find on Ravelry it just had the magazine listed, and it was a classic cabled V-neck that was published in Vogue Knitting in 1961. I think their summer-spring edition. Let me see if this references. Yeah, Cable Classic V-neck first appeared in the spring-summer 1961 issue of the original Vogue Knitting magazine. So here we have the sweater. So I just fell in love with this. And only to find out there's no digital version of the pattern. So I hunt and I hunt and I hunt, and I can find it on eBay in a magazine, which I'm thinking, could be iffy. What if someone took that one page out? Anyways, $35 plus shipping. Do I love it that much? So in comes my friend Amanda, who is amazing for all knitting things, solving all knitting problems. And she does an image search, and she comes up with that it has been republished in this book, Vogue Knitting Vintage Collection, classic knits from the 30s to 60s. So it's available on Amazon and used. I love, love, love to buy a used reference book. Knitting, cooking, I love it. I love the I don't know, I was always a big library person. I tend to do my reading books digitally now because I use a Kindle, but I love, for the books I collect, there's something about a book having provenance to me. I mean, weirdly, I even like a cookbook with a little splash on it. It's it was used. But, people's favorites. Anyway, so I ordered this book, and it comes in. It is very brief. Again, I don't want to, show off the pattern too much, but, that is it. 2 pages. And so I started doing some swatching. So what I wanted to use, so in the Antler sweater, I knit with the Cestari Traditional Collection 100% wool. This is a Virginia grown and produced wool. It is fabulous. That sweater has worn, like I said, it probably has more dog hair than anything. It has a few pills on it, but for a sweater that I've worn literally every single day for probably at least the last year, when I discovered that was a excellent use for it. So pardon the locks of love that Sadie contributes. It is in really good condition. So here's the underarm. There's a little bit in my hair, but not a lot, honestly. So it just held up great. It's woolly and toothy, but soft and not scratchy. I really, really, really love this wool. It does not come in a ton of colors, But it does come in all the natural colors and a few dyed colors, so I highly recommend. So they had and this has been a few years ago, listed, they had some cone yarn that they were unhappy with the amount of VM, or vegetable matter, that was in it. This is a Merino 3-ply DK, and it's a 3-pound cone, and it was like $40. And yeah, I mean, if you look hard, you can see some little flecks of VM, but honestly, like, when you knit, it comes out. So, like, it doesn't particularly bother me. I like the connection to a good sheepy yarn. So I ordered, I think, 3 cones of this. Wish I'd gotten like 6. Anyway, so I really wanted to use this yarn. So I started swatching with the chart. I'm getting part of the way into the chart, and I'll show you this in a minute. And I'm like, something does not look right. And I look and I start comparing, because it's, because it's multiple cables, right? But the same pattern. And I start to see these inconsistencies, and I think, like, what? Like, I can understand in the magazine that it had something, or a mistake, but it was republished in a book. Anyway, so it finally occurs to me to look online to see if there's any errata, and they actually do have a nice, if you're knitting from any vintage Vogue magazines, they do have a nice errata section on their website, and I did find one, not for the magazine, it didn't go back that far, but for the book. And sure enough, there was 3 mistakes in the chart, so I was marking it up on my Knit Companion, trying to get the chart correct. And so the beginning of this swatch is kind of funky, but I typically have to go down a needle size. It's recommended for a 5mm US 8 needle. So I started swatching with a 7, I think down here. No, I started swatching with an 8, and then I went up to a 7. And then I blocked it, and then I tried I think a 5 here. I blocked it, and it shrunk like a lot. I mean, I think it not shrunk like the wool shrunk, but it puffed up, as wool yarn tends to do, and which makes the cables nicer. I mean, they're quite lovely. But the gauge I thought was a little off, and I wasn't sure. So I thought, well, let me try a little bit more rounder yarn, because it's a 3-ply, but it's not like a 5-ply, which would be great for cables. So then I tried Briggs and Little Heritage, and this is only a 2-ply, so probably not the best choice when I was looking for rounder yarn, but it was a little bit higher grist. So this one is recommended 17 stitches, 4 inches on 5 needles. Well, now this pattern, actually, the gauge is 24 stitches and 26 rows to 4 inches with the US 8, which I wouldn't even get with the US 8. Like, that would be like trying to get that tight, pretty tight. I actually I did get it when I looked back at my original Cestari. I did get that with the 8s, which is odd, but anyway, with this one, it was good. And I was relatively on gauge with the US 8, but I don't think I like the fabric quite a lot. This is a really good, affordable, nice yarn, though. I mean, it is toothy. It's toothier than this one. I can wear it. Some people, I think, would have a hard time wearing it next to skin, but it's a very good buy. I ordered from Maritime Family Farm in Maine. It's a Canadian yarn, but she brings it in. So anyway, took it to Knit Group this week and had some discussions, and I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and knit it with a Cestari for a couple reasons. I do like the fabric that I'm getting. and I have the yarn in stash, so huge motivator, and I love the yarn. I know it's going to hold up nicely. I know it'll be soft, for my dad, who's probably, while he probably grew up wearing very woolly wools, it's probably not something he's doing these days much. So yeah, and I just, why order the yarn when I have it, and I'm happy with this. It's probably not the roundest yarn for cables, but I do like the result of the fabric that I'm getting, and I do know it'll wear really, really well. And I already have it. So I knit my stored away sweater out of the same yarn and held it with mohair, and I barely dented one of the cones, so I definitely have plenty of the yarn. So that is what I am going to make. I'm super excited. I actually I flew through these swatches like in an evening, so I really do like knitting it. I'm thinking the pattern is knit flat in pieces, and I'm thinking I don't know that there's a good reason to do that. Whether I will knit flat all the way up and do steeks for the arm and neck, I'm not sure. I may switch to flat knitting there, so I'm not rowing out badly, so I'm comfortable with that. But I think I will cast on to bottom up. I think I'll cast on and do the front and the back together. My stitch gauge is spot on. My row gauge is a little short, so I think that will be okay based on my dad's frame, but and I probably would not knit it today as long as it was knit there, but I'll see. I have the sample, to go by, but I can manage that, I think. So all that being said, I would either have to knit them, I think, 2 at a time to kind of make sure I'm getting consistent gauge, or I really think this will help me from a consistency. Plus, I keep trying, and I don't mind handwork and I don't mind seaming, but I'm not good at it. I just, we'll talk about my machine knit trousers another day, because that's going to have a lot of seaming. So I will get some practice, but not on a gift knit anyway. So I am going to cast that on, and I will keep you apprised of the progress. It's really kind of made me think about sort of all things cabled. And of course I came back from Ireland last year with a cable knit sweater and I don't know, I just really enjoyed knitting it. I don't love Fair Isle and colorwork knitting. I mean, I like it as as an accent or a little bit of a diet, but I don't really have a big desire to knit an entire all over colorwork Fair Isle. I do want to do that on my knitting machine, however, which was a whole different experience. But as far as hand knitting, I don't enjoy it the way I've really enjoyed these cables. So I actually talked to one of the really experienced knitters at our knit group, and she gave me several Erin book references. So I did a little dive on thrift books and came up with a few used ones, so I've got them on order. And there might be some men's patterns in there as well, so I think that would be interesting. I will say, when I got looking through this pattern, you can see maybe in the swatches that it's not entirely like symmetrical. I mean, now this one I didn't finish, this is the top, so it would be better. But when you really look at the photo, is the same way. They're kind of more a rough diamond. I mean, they're not crisp, and so I kind of wondered if that bothered me. Hold the picture up one more time, awkwardly. And so again, I kind of threw that out there. People are like, you're noticing it because you're looking at it knitting. Like, no one's going to see that on the sweater, and that's the way the sweater is. I mean, like, that's the way it was produced in the pattern. So I am just going to go for it because I feel like I've gone down this rabbit hole, and I want to knit this sweater. So this, the sleeves are also knit flat and seamed. So that'll be interesting to see how I decide to do that, because I guess I could reverse the pattern, but I probably will have to knit the sleeves and then attach them, seam them in at the top. We'll see. So that'll be fun. So I will keep you posted on the progress. I would love to know, we're certainly seeing some cabled knits now. Are you knitting on a cabled knit? What do you think about cabled knitting? Do you have a favorite yarn that you like to knit with? So yeah, I think it's cool that I'm able to do this from a fairly local, for me, regional, because I'm in North Carolina, but my parents are in Virginia, so cool that the sweater will be all done from Virginia wool and live there. But yeah. I also say the one other thing I'm thinking about with this Cestari yarn, I have 3.5 maybe skeins of this left, and then of course those cones. So for me, I'm thinking about, I'm just in love with the Alpen Bloom vest in here. So, or sorry, not Alpen, Nordic Bloom vest. There's both a vest and a cardigan. It's a Caitlin Hunter pattern. And I'm thinking I have enough of those two. I would love to be able to do the blackberry in the background and the cream as the floral. I don't know if I have enough yarn for that, so I need to measure that out. But I think that would be a really cool use of, I had it marked. I think that'd be a really cool use of the yarn. I mean, it would be fine the other way around too, but so that might be one of my next. So I do some color work, clearly. So those are some kind of the things I'm thinking about. Definitely looking to use some stuff that I have in stash. I think I'm gonna do another video on I had leftover woolly mammoth natural DK after I finished my Moynier jumper, and definitely I bought a couple of more skeins of yarn in different colors to try to do some kind of stripy sweater with that. So that's a whole other project plan that I will do as a separate video. But so that's all for today. I hope you liked a little bit of the glimpse of this. I did not see any projects of this on Ravelry, which is not really surprising. I would imagine people knitted in 1961 or even when the book came out in the 80s, but would be curious if you have seen it or know anybody who has knitted or knit it yourself or something similar. If you have a men's V-neck cabled sweater or other textured sweater, please put it in the link below. I'll be glad to share that back out as well. And other than that, let me know what you're knitting on, or spinning, or dyeing, or weaving, and I will wish you happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Until next week, thanks so much. Bye, y'all.